we're obviously very excited to win the award, and being part of the Open Banking Excellence community is very exciting. So on the back of that, it was great to be introduced to a number of different partners to be able to look at the technology and the APIs that are available. So, everything now seems to be an API. So you hear that word used an awful lot. And it's incredible how you can plug things together and just make them work. So open banking is leading and pioneering in that space. So to be part of the Open Banking Excellence Awards and to be given access to those people and be able to talk to different partners and to go through the different products and services they offer that we can plug into and then adapt accordingly, it makes our product even stronger. So it's really exciting to be part of that world and part of that journey where we can all work together and make things better in terms of the fintech space and what we all do.
So maybe you could give us a quick overview of Hasty and sort of what the company was set up initially to do as well.
Well, I guess, we've been on a journey, so that's for certain. Our founder was a guy who's still there. He's the CEO. He ran a staffing agency, and his observation was that to get staff to attend events like Wembley or Ascot was difficult. They would have the opportunity to earn some money. A lot of them were students or gig economy type people. And he thought, he was always being asked for advances. So he looked at it and thought, if I could find a way to produce an app to help them, then I owe them that fee, if you like. They've worked 2 or 3 days for me, but I'm not going to pay them for a fortnight or for a month. And it's a long time. And they've got the opportunity to go to work and earn, the value of a shift. So we've reduced down the time between effort and reward. So you put in the effort, you work a shift, and we can reward you at the end of the shift, literally. So the card isn't an extension of that. We do have an app which delivers a service, but you can literally finish a shift. We receive a message from the employer, which is another API, and it's your earned money. And all we're doing is we're just allowing you access to it early. We allow you a portion of the money. We don't give you everything. We can allow up to 50% of your total gross earnings. And it's very important to bear in mind, this isn't a loan because the employer owes that debt to you. They've just decided they're just going to hold on to it for 30 days or however long that pay cycle is. And we're just narrowing down the gap. So,
it's kind of interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of people sort of initially when your sort of services came out, comparing it to sort of payday loans and all this.
That's right.
Absolutely nothing like at all.
Exactly. And it wasn't until I think Pi Radio in 1950 odd, they were trying to change the pay calendar from weekly to monthly. And they had to pay cash, which is expensive. They wanted to move to pay by check. And in that process, monthly pay became the norm. And so that wasn't too long ago. So when you consider now that people are having to, find, very expensive forms of loans and credit cards and payday loans and debts, whereas really they just need liquidity, which they're entitled to have. And this in a way is going back to what weekly pay was like. We're giving people weekly pay. We can do it daily, obviously with the technology, but you're really making the balances much more for the worker and the employee rather than the employer. The employer only does monthly pay because it's less administration and it's better cash flow for them. It's not really for the benefit of the worker.
Mm. It's kind of interesting. I guess that is one of the areas that the Appathon was looking to try and really exploit. It was under the retail and SME banking section, I think, and it was all about developing payment solutions for more efficient payroll services. As you said, a company that's paying its employees wants to make a minimum number of payments as possible because, it takes time. But obviously on an employee side of things, it's a lot more straightforward to manage your own finances if you have an amount a week or, as you say, even an amount a day. Some people find it a lot easier to manage in that respect, isn't it?
Oh, totally. I mean, the whole platform we're building is about the financial health platform for everybody. We've got budgeting tools and we give financial education. So this open banking for good is all part of that process, all part of being inclusive to all and making sure that they get the choices they need and the education they need. When you went to school, they didn't teach you what mortgage was or what APR meant in terms of percentages. So we're making sure that people have all of those tools at their disposal, that they can make savings. And part of the Appathon work is being able to look at providers like savings providers for rewards and cashbacks and being able to plug into those providers and work together to make it, for the greater good, if you like, in terms of the whole banking space.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of conversation and still is a lot of conversation going on around, financial inclusion. And again, that's obviously a very large matter as well. There's a lot of people that, really struggled to sort of not necessarily get bank accounts, but also to get money paying in a certain level. So I'm guessing sort of the Hasty Card kind of helps with that sort of principle as well.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, because of the nature of being employed, you've had to go through some onboarding process, and there's the HR have to take a copy of your passport, etc. There's some legalities to onboard you as an employee. So therefore, the card is an extension of that, where they can apply for the card. We can now put their funds dynamically on the card. So when they go to the shop and there's a point of sale, we've removed all of the barriers, all of the frictions disappeared. All of that administration, they can literally just go in, tap and spend. We dynamically keep adjusting that based on the expenditure. And at the end of the month, we give a simple report to the employer, and it shows what they've advanced. And therefore, we tally up together. We receive back the fees that we've advanced, and the employee receives their wages as normal. So it's really straightforward. It works amazingly well.
Just thinking about sort of the actual Appathon, obviously you were, the Appathon was supported by a lot of great banking as a service partners. What sort of things do you think you're going to be able to improve and do more of now that you've got access to this sort of bank of APIs, etc.?
Well, I think without giving away too much, obviously we've got a lot of features on the product roadmap. I think from a high level, we're looking at very much the rewards and benefits space. So what is it that we can help, to give to employees that is of value to them? There's certain cashback ideas. Again, with some of the banking partners, you can give visibility of other accounts, and maybe we can help there with them, using other services that may be more expensive, and perhaps making them think about their choices and giving them better education about what choices to make and when. So we can give prompts around, education on, well, actually, if you're spending X this month, if you carry on in this way, you won't be able to save as much. You're going to hit certain thresholds. So there's a number of ideas in there without giving too much away, but it does give us that whole availability of services to choose from. We can pick, the best of breed. We don't have to build it. Building your own products of that nature is expensive and time consuming, and we can just use the best according to the problem we're solving at the time.
Yeah, and I think without sort of putting words in your mouth, I guess, you had a lot of features on your product roadmap anyway. And would you sort of say that this sort of access to these partners has sort of enabled you to maybe accelerate some of those products to market? Yeah,
I think the whole Appathon and the open banking gives you access to partners you may not have thought of previously. And it speeds up the process. They have spent lots of time and effort running teams of people to produce that tech. And it's very much a plug and play. So you get there a lot quicker. You don't have to do all the design and go through the whole process yourselves. So it's a big plus. It's a big benefit to both parties. We all benefit from it, and we both achieve what we need to, which is more customers, keeping people happier in the workplace, and giving them lots more choice.
How did you find, the virtual Appathon experience, which obviously is going to be quite different to how, a hackathon or an Appathon would have run previously, before the pandemic?
Very different, I have to say. I don't have a hangover to show for it either.
Cut that down.
I mean, normally you would appear at an event, you'd share a table, you'd have a nice, sit-down dinner. There'd be big awards and speeches and what have you, whereas we've been sat at home, some of us on furlough, other of us forging ahead and trying to make the best of what we can in these challenging times. And I think the Appathon's been amazing to be able to give visibility to these providers and suppliers, in this virtual world. We're living our lives on Zoom and Teams, and to be able to make that happen and present accordingly, and to award to various people to judge it accordingly. I think it's brilliant. They've done a great job, and pleased to be part of it.